The second day after I was brought back home, the fake heiress Rose Williams took me to a party at the Tasty Haven restaurant. She sneered and said I was trying to act understanding. Did you stay up half the night watching tutorial videos on how to pick a crab so you wouldn't embarrass yourself? Someone noticed my crab-picking technique was identical to that of the crown prince of the ultra-wealthy set. A few people gloated and sniped. He hates copycats most of all. Just wait and see how she gets dealt with. Everyone waited for the moment I would be humiliated, until the crown prince strolled in and gently slid a plate of perfectly shelled crab meat to me. At the table, my biological mother, Mrs. Ariel, grew cold for the third time, moving the dish I'd picked up to the plate across from me. This is my good daughter's favorite. Eat up. Rose Williams smiled obediently, glanced at me with a hint of hesitation and said, "Please don't be mad, sister. I know I'm not Mother's real daughter, so just a little love from our parents is enough for me. I won't fight you for anything. Don't blame me, and don't hate me." Mrs. Ariel shot me an impatient glare and said coolly, "What nonsense. Even if you weren't born of me, you're more than blood to me. Everything that belongs to the Williams family is yours." So what if there's blood? How can that compare to the bond forged day and night? I love only the good daughter I personally raised. In the seat of honor, my biological father, Jonathan Williams, also gazed tenderly at Rose. The three of them, without a word, formed a wall that shut me out of their lives entirely. I set my chopsticks down, irritation rising. If they despise me this much, why go to the trouble of finding me? Are they addicted to acting? Did they bring me back just to make me sit there and watch their play called Kind Mother, Filial Daughter, Harmonious Family? The play reached the scene where Rose, tearfully moved, expressed gratitude for being raised. I scraped my chair back and cut in. Cool as ice, I'm finished. Please, carry on. The audience asked permission to leave. Who exactly are you going to perform for now? Rose hurried to push Mrs. Ariel aside, tucked her hair behind her ear, and said hastily, "Sister, our family rule is that juniors cannot rise before elders leave the table. It's etiquette, and something a wealthy heiress must learn. You've only just returned from some remote countryside, so if you weren't taught this, it's understandable." Jonathan Williams frowned, displeasure in his eyes as he looked at me. "Your sister kindly reminded you. Sit down, don't be rude." Mrs. Ariel curled her lip and said icily, "Makes sense. Grow up in the sticks and even blood ties can't compare to Rose, who's been properly taught since childhood. It's a total mess." A flash of calculation crossed Rose's eyes. She quickly took Mrs. Ariel's hand. "Mom, how about I teach her proper manners? That way she won't embarrass the Williams family when she goes out. As it happens, I'm hosting a party at Tasty Haven tomorrow. Just my friends. I'll take her to broaden her horizons and teach her a little." Mrs. Ariel's face relaxed. She patted Rose's hand. "My thoughtful girl. I'll leave it to you." Then she turned and glared at me. "Why are you still standing there? Don't you understand human speech?" I smiled with forced patience. "Sorry, I really need the restroom. Can't hold it much longer. I also can't stand these aristocratic manners. How about I go first? Of course, I don't mind taking care of it right here either." The entire Williams clan stared, as if they truly believed I'd do it at the table. Mrs. Ariel, livid, jabbed a finger toward the door. "What kind of talk is that? Get out of my sight." Happily, I left the table and walked out of the mansion. It was late by the time I got home. Barely out of the shower, Rose pushed the door open, her voice tart. "Just got brought back and you're already out late. Where did you go to mess around? I get that you grew up poor and want to snag a rich man, but don't be so blatant. I'll let it slide this time, but if someone else sees it next time, won't you disgrace the Williams family?" My hand paused mid-towel. She must have seen the limited edition sports car that picked me up earlier. Seeing I didn't answer, Rose casually pulled out a chair to sit. I glanced at her once and ignored her, slipping off my bathrobe. The moment I did, Rose laughed in contempt. "This is what you get for eating gruel and greens? Your family must have tried to fatten you up in front and perk you up. In back so you'd bear sons easily and fetch a higher bride price, huh? No wonder you were eager to jump into a supercar." I put on my own pajamas. Rose laughed again. "The maid laid out a silk nightgown for you, and you won't wear it, choosing that rag instead. Don't think I don't see through you, trying to look pitiful? Too bad the Williams family doesn't fall for that." I sighed lightly. "Are you always like this? Fond of acting, prone to delusions, signs of a budding personality disorder? What did you say?" Rose exploded like a firecracker and lunged, hand raised to slap me. I didn't bother to dodge. I simply caught her wrist, turned, and pushed her toward the door. She thrashed wildly. Desi Miller, what are you doing? If you touch me, you won't see the sun tomorrow. Her shrill voice could pierce eardrums. I pulled off her hairband and stuffed it into her mouth. Thanks, princess. Do you think you're a queen looking down on the poor? I barely gave her a nudge, no real force, and she staggered toward the railing. She glared at me with hatred, face flushing red, fingers shaking as she pointed at me. Fine, you're good. Tomorrow at Tasty Haven, just you wait. Grow up in squalor and you'll always be trash. I lowered my eyes and looked at her quietly, suddenly finding it absurd. I slept fitfully, the same dream looping all night. When the alarm rang, I was still seeing Rose chasing me around with crab claws. For the first time, I felt coming back to the Williams family was a big mistake. Right then, a WeChat video call came in on schedule. I yawned, took the phone into the bathroom, and ignored the smoldering gaze on the screen. Morning, I said lazily. Morning, the distorted audio answered. I didn't sleep well, probably not used to the bed yet. A quiet chuckle, his voice a little husky, like a feather brushing my heart, leaving me tingling. I shivered without thinking. After washing my face, I saw he still hadn't hung up. I leaned closer. He rested his chin on his hand and smiled, dimples deepening. Planning to shower? I shot him a sidelong look. Go away. On the way to Tarek Jones's house, I was so tired I conked out in the car. I woke to the driver calling me. Rose was nowhere in sight. I asked where her room was. The driver hemmed and hawed, top floor, but not sure which room. I strolled the corridor, opening doors one by one. Behind me, a manager followed, and every so often, after I spoke, he'd lower his head to jot something in a notebook. Then footsteps approached. A tall, straight man in a tailored suit came into view. When he saw me, he stopped, like he recognized me but hadn't processed it yet. He took a call. His face stayed blank, but his tone was feather-light. Rose, I'm here. I'm hanging up. He walked straight up to me, eyes carrying a hint of authority. I nodded back. His face, carved from the same mold as Jonathan Williams. I hesitated, then murmured, Brother? He frowned slightly, almost imperceptibly, but answered, then turned and gestured for me to follow. Just before opening a door, he paused and said softly, Rose has been spoiled since she was little. If she does anything out of line, please don't take it to heart. She's young and not quite mature, but she's not a bad person. The party room was lively. People sat in circles, chatting. When we walked in, the chatter paused for a beat, then surged back up. Back early from your business trip, brother Maverick. The crowd clustered around Maverick Williams, ushering him inside, pointedly acting as if I didn't exist. I ignored the prying looks and quietly found an empty seat. Rose beamed, squeezed through a few people, and clung to his arm, her tone sweetly reproachful. Brother, you came to see me straight off the plane. Let him rest, everyone. She pushed Maverick into the host's seat. Sit here. He ruffled her hair and smiled, refusing. You sit. You organize this party. You're the star. Then he sat beside Rose and added gently, Today, I'll play your escort. As he spoke, his gaze slid briefly toward me. I looked back, expression cool and empty as winter. Only when he drew his eyes away with a faint frown did I begin to rinse dining utensils in front with tea water. Suddenly, Rose Williams feigned surprise and called out, Ah, sister, I almost forgot you were here. First time in a Rolls-Royce, and you were so happy you fell asleep, huh? The ride was so short, but you slept like the dead. No matter how I called you, you wouldn't wake up. I kept the whole room waiting ages for you. You won't hold it against me, will you? Before I could speak, Maverick Williams said coolly, What's it got to do with you? The one who made an entire room wait because she has no manners. That's what's shameful. No sooner had he finished than snickers rippled around the room. Wouldn't wake up no matter what. Total pig. So provincial. And here I thought she knew things. There's a private fine dining chef here. Why rinse the cups? I lifted my eyes to them. Private fine dining chef, is it? I rather liked the title. But I wasn't rinsing the ware for hygiene. It was so the crab meat wouldn't pick up stray smells or flavors. Someone laughed. Look at that face. Like she's never seen the world. Definitely not Heiress material. Nothing like Rose Williams. Every gaze swung to me, mocking, contemptuous, dismissive. I calmly finished rinsing my own setting, then picked up the set next to it. Rose let out a light laugh. Sister, everyone here is my friend. What's mine is yours. No need to toady so far as to rinse other people's dishes. Besides, there are enough people already. You're sitting there with 2 empty seats beside you. So awkward. I chuckled too, took the bowl of hot water, and started toward the restroom. Right. What a coincidence. Thing is, I'm allergic to stupidity, Sit too close and it's contagious. Right on cue, my hand slipped, and the hot water splashed over the first guy who'd mocked me. He cursed and leapt up, face flushed from the burn, lunging at me. I panicked, and my hand slipped again. Another bowl of hot water doused his arm. "I'm so sorry," I said, voice trembling as if I might cry. "I'm from the countryside. Clumsy hands." Rose shot to her feet, agitated. "Desi Miller, what are you doing?" Maverick strode over, gave me a complicated glance, then silently stepped between me and the scalded man, dragging him off to run cool water over the burn. I carried the rest bowl back to my seat and sat, unruffled. A consultant beside me tilted his head and whispered, "Are you all right?" Putting on a gentle act, Rose looked at me and said, "I get it. My sister's provincial. First time somewhere this classy, a little nervous hand slip is normal." I drew a deep breath for show, covered my mouth, and murmured in mock amazement, "Oh, sister, you won't blame me for hurting your friend, will you? Didn't you just say what's yours is mine? Then your friends are my friends. Why be so petty between friends?" I figured if he called me a pig, I should let him experience what it's like to be a dead pig unafraid of boiling water. "Oh, and didn't you promise our parents you'd teach me etiquette?" Propping my chin on my hand, I smiled and swept the room with a glance. Faces froze, eyes darted, embarrassed, irritated, guilty. I suddenly laughed coldly in my heart. These people really have no such thing as education. The air drew taut, one spark away from blowing. Rose pointed, about to speak, when the door opened and waiters filed in with dishes. The manager, all professional calm, took in the tension and began introducing each course. Maverick returned, nodded thanks to the manager, and tugged Rose back to her seat. "Sit. Eat first." Rose shot me a look, as if remembering something, then smiled and set a bowl of lemon blossom rinse water in front of me. From the corner of my eye, I saw no one touch their chopsticks. Every stare was fixed on me, gleeful, waiting for a show. I lifted the rinse bowl and raised it, as if to drink. Someone couldn't help a small snort. "She's really going to drink it?" But I set the bowl down, turned, and gave a courteous nod to the manager watching with tight shoulders. He exhaled in relief, wiped his brow, and said, "Please enjoy your meal. We won't disturb you further." The door clicked softly shut. Under the room's watchful, unreadable eyes, I calmly picked up a Shanghai hairy crab and set it on my plate. I glanced up. What are you all staring at? Do I have something on my face?" Rose cleared her throat. "You really did come prepared. I was about to remind you that water's for rinsing hands, not drinking." I gave her a meaningful look and began to shell the crab unhurried. The carapace cracked cleanly, golden crab roe gleamed, a rich fragrance unfurling. I said lightly, "No wonder someone personally selected these. The quality's not bad." A few people snorted at once. She not only can't use the crab tools, she can't even eat crab. No one starts with the shell. All that pretentious fuss, and she's just a hick. A flicker of triumph crossed Rose's eyes. She set her crab on its stand and began snipping off the legs with the shears. "Sister, step 1 is like this. Otherwise, by the time you finish the row, the legs will be cold." After the legs, she tapped the shell delicately with the mallet. "I'll demonstrate so you can't say I didn't teach you." While she fussed, I quietly removed the stomach, gills, and other inedible parts, setting them neatly aside and leaving only the essence. Rose looked up and saw my plate. Pure meat and roe, the discards tidy beside it, and froze. She tittered, eyes full of fake surprise. "Oh, you do know what not to eat. Very selective." Then she sneered, making a point of it. "You didn't stay up till midnight watching crab-picking videos just to avoid embarrassment, did you? No wonder you were nodding off in the car. Guess you really worked hard." I smiled, slowly working a claw. "I'm your elder sister. Even if we share no blood, since you call me sister, you should let me keep a bit of face, right? Otherwise, if you, who don't even know who your real parents are, have to cry in a corner at midnight, wouldn't that be pitiful?" I flicked a glance at the crab on Rose's plate and added gently, like a reminder, "Also, you've been fiddling so long your crab's going cold. Eat it quick, or you'll get a stomachache and embarrass the Williams family. I've heard the man behind this place isn't ordinary. 10 Williams clans together might not be able to touch him." Rose slammed the table and shot to her feet. Maverick frowned, pulled her back, then cast me a cold look. "Miss Desi, did my words at the door go in one ear and out the other? Need me to repeat them? On paper you may be my blood sister, but to me and to our parents, Rose Williams is the true eldest miss of the Williams family. Don't spout outdated bluster about backing." I set down my spoon, leaned back, raised a brow to reply. Oh, quite lively, isn't it? A languid voice laced with innate nobility sounded right behind us. The sudden appearance of Tarek Jones snapped the tension like a string. For a few seconds, the room went dead still, then burst into whispers. My God, even the Crown Prince came? Rose Williams is impressive. She invited young Master Tarek. Rumor says the Joneses want to ally with the Williams clan. Could it be true? What a bloodbath. Real heiress versus fake still unresolved. And now we're about to see the true and fake Crown Princess, too. Rose stood frozen, eyes wide on Tarek as if she couldn't believe it. Only Maverick kept his composure, immediately taking Rose's hand and stepping forward to greet him. Young Master Tarek, long time no see. Have you come to inspect the restaurant? There was a careful flattery in Maverick's tone. He was clearly older than Tarek, yet still used honorifics. Tarek Jones smiled. His indifferent eyes swept over the pair of careful brothers, then scanned the room again. Everyone bowed their heads, only daring to glance out of the corner of their eyes. Finally, his gaze seemed to gain weight as it paused on me for a few beats, then moved on. I propped my chin and watched him perform, unhurried. Only when Tarek Jones looked straight at Maverick again did he smile, without warmth. I'm not here for these sorts of parties. But tell me, do you have a seat for me? Everyone in the room froze, calculations churning behind bright smiles, then chimed in warmly, Of course, of course. If young Master Tarek is here, he should naturally take the seat of honor. Rose Williams flushed with delight and cooed, Young Master Tarek, please sit in my seat. Maverick Williams also glanced toward the head seat, ready to invite him over, but Tarek Jones pretended to think, then suddenly looked at the empty spot beside me. No need. Isn't this seat open? I'll sit here. He walked straight over and took the chair next to me. The air in the room went oddly taut. When he reached for the teapot to rinse his cup and chopsticks, I said evenly, already rinsed. Tarek set the pot down as if it were the most natural thing, letting out an absent, oh. In that instant, the whole room seemed to hit pause. Air solidified, people mid-breath. Maverick stared, eyes flicking between me and Tarek. Tarek acted oblivious, casually picked up a plump female crab and dropped it onto his plate, asking lightly as he worked, Why is everyone frozen? Eat. Don't mind me. Or do the crabs here not suit your taste? Seeing that, Maverick hurried Rose back into her seat and forced a smile. How could that be? No one does crab better than Tasty Haven. Tarek grunted an M&M, and without ceremony, flipped the shell over with his hands. The gesture left the crowd, armed with shears and crab mallets, unsure of what to do. All the polished young ladies and gentlemen suddenly feared a single wrong move would make the Crown Prince laugh at them. Someone with more nerve than sense piped up, low but clear. Why does young Master Tarek peel crab exactly like that country girl? If I remember right, his family once had a nanny with motives who posted lots of everyday clips of him. There was a famous one where he peeled a crab without tools. Tons of broke netizens copied it to learn. Don't tell me Desi Miller watched that and is copying him now? They tried to whisper, but Rose heard them. She adopted a thoughtful look, then smiled. Sister, why aren't you eating? Not to your taste. Hearing that, Tarek paused and raised a brow at me, curious. I shrugged. No, I just suddenly feel lazy and want to eat crabs someone else shelled. Rose laughed like she'd just heard the joke of the century. Don't kid yourself. There are no rich sugar daddies here to pamper you. My friends all have status. Who has time to shell crab for you? Daydreaming in broad daylight. Oh, and a reminder, those tricks you use to seduce men won't work in my circle. I made an exaggerated oh, smiled brightly, and before Tarek could speak, I picked up another crab, flipped and cleaned it in a few neat motions, adding, You're right, doing it yourself. Tastes better. Rose beamed, then kept needling. You look awfully practiced, exactly like how young Master Tarek peeled crab in that nanny's leaked video. At that, Tarek's hand froze midair with a piece of crab meat. He tilted his head, glanced from Rose to me. In a blink, he understood this was a vicious little acting. He leaned back, dropped his spoon, and smiled thinly, as if settling in to watch. Someone misread that smile and crowed, The Crown Prince hates copycats most, especially ones copying secretly filmed clips. Just you wait, she's done for. I had zero patience left to spar with Rose. I lifted my eyes at Tarek, irritation sharp. Great. I rinsed the tableware for you, and you're just going to sit there and watch me get mocked? Without wasting breath, I shoved him lightly and snapped, Hey, what's this I'm done for supposed to mean? Tarek tipped with my push, then recovered instantly. For dear life, He slid the freshly shelled crab in front of me. Desi, I knew you were too lazy to lift a finger, so I shelled it for you. He stared at me, anxious I'd reject the gesture and blow up. Then he swiftly grabbed the half-shelled crab on my plate, snipped off the legs, swish, swish, and laid out neat pieces of meat. Only after I accepted it did he turn, eyes turning cold toward the man who'd said I was done for. Who exactly did you say was done for? The whole room went dead silent. Every expression, every thought snuffed out, no one could process why. The aloof crown prince had suddenly turned solicitous toward me. From every angle we looked far too familiar. The man Tarek addressed was shaking like a leaf. He finally stammered, I. Tarek nodded, pleased. Good. Know yourself, know your opponent. That's a good start. He shifted his gaze to Rose, voice still lazy. And you, what was that you said, about sugar daddies? Seducing men? Copying whom? With each question, Rose's face went a shade paler. Beside her, Maverick frowned so hard he could have crushed a fly. Rose's lips trembled. Young Master Tarek? Maverick sprang up with a wineglass, trying to keep calm. Young Master Tarek, my apologies. My sister was thoughtless and spoke out of turn. I'll discipline her. He tipped back 3 shots of baijiu in a row, then held the glass, staring nervously at Tarek, barely breathing. Tarek suddenly laughed. Anyone who knew him understood that was not amusement. It was the herald of a storm. Whenever he laughed like that, disaster followed the other party. You call her sister, but without blood, there's not much family there, is there? And you, young Master Maverick, playing twisted family morals. You let your blood sister be humiliated and didn't say a word? Do you think I'm the one you owe an apology to? Humiliated in public, Maverick went rigid, but didn't dare retort. He refilled his glass, raised it toward me, and bowed his head. Miss Desi, I'm sorry. I failed in my duty as a brother. He drained it, then reached to pour again. Hold it, I said, lifting a hand. He looked up, a flicker of hope in his eyes. I smiled lightly. You've had enough, young Master Maverick. Why don't we let Miss Rose take the other 2, on your behalf? His gaze changed at once, anger flashing, barely contained. He glanced at me, then at Tarek. In the end, he gritted his teeth and handed Rose the glass. He whispered something I couldn't catch. Rose's eyes went red with fury. She glared at me, snatched the bottle, and poured it straight down her throat. A fit of coughing racked her, her face flushed scarlet with the burn. Her voice came out raw. Desi Miller, I'm sorry, all right? I let my eyes travel slowly around the room. Every face wore a different look. Awkwardness, discomfort, guilt. Enough material for a full play. I bumped Tarek with my elbow and drawled, let's go. I'm bored. He caught on instantly and played along, lifting my coat from my chair and draping it over my shoulders with a smile. Please, enjoy your meal. My girlfriend and I will take our leave. Out by the car, I still refused to look at him. Tarek drove, sneaking little glances at my face to read me. At a red light, something clicked. Tarek Jones. I cut him a cold side-eye. How much of me being found by the Williams clan was arranged by you? He hadn't answered when I snorted. Don't deny it. I thought it was strange last night. Rose kept dodging the question of why I was brought back. Today someone mentioned a marriage alliance. Don't tell me you had nothing to do with it. You think I don't know what you're like? The light turned green. Tarek flinched, rubbed the bridge of his nose, then sobered. The truth is, once I learned you'd been taken in by Mr. Basil Miller, I quietly started searching for your biological parents. I happened to find a blood match with Mrs. Ariel. I didn't expect a single check would hit, call it a blind cat catching a fried fish. So I told the Williams family. He pulled over to the curb. I lifted my hand and tapped him sharply. And you still dared keep that from me. Tarek bowed his head and took the hit like a good boy. I'm sorry. Okay. It was urgent. The day I confirmed you were the Williams' daughter, I heard the Williams and Jones families had an old marriage pact. In my house, I'm the only one left unmarried. Maverick's grandfather planned to use public opinion to apply pressure. I panicked and made a rash move. Acted first, told you later. I didn't expect the Williams clan to be one thing to the world and another behind closed doors. Great actors, sure, but behind the curtain I cut in, cool as ice. I don't need you playing the hero after the battle. Tarek Jones nodded over and over, and still couldn't resist tacking on a tease. Yes, yes, yes. Our Miss Desi is the most formidable of all. Seeing I wasn't angry anymore, he sidled closer, voice all flattery. We really are fated, you know. You were kidnapped, then by chance became Mr. Basil Miller's granddaughter. Thanks to that, I got to know you early childhood. Sweethearts. Then we grew up, and I learned your true identity and that you're the fiancé betrothed to me since childhood. See? Heaven clearly matched us, didn't it? I thought to myself that if Maverick Williams hadn't lost track of his little sister that year, sending a girl like me into the wrong preschool to be adopted by Mr. Basil Miller, I probably wouldn't be entangled with this guy at all. I pushed his head off my shoulder. Though the hand of fate tugged a little at my heart, I kept my face hard. So what if you're handsome? When did I say I'd marry you? By the time we got home, it was late. Tarek's flashy sports car pulled up in front of the villa. It took ages of coaxing to keep him from following me inside. I didn't even look back at his wounded puppy eyes. I went straight in. The living room lights were blazing. The entire Williams clan sat neatly on the sofa. They'd clearly been waiting a long time. Desi, you're back. Mrs. Ariel stood, smiling warmly and reaching to take my hand to seat me beside her. I quietly avoided her and sat opposite. What do you want? Jonathan Williams frowned, swallowing his temper. Why are you home at this hour? A young woman out late with who knows what kind of people? Have you no sense of decorum? I gave a thin smile, crossed my legs, raised a brow. You don't know who I was with? Maverick couldn't hold it in. Father's worried about you. Why are you speaking like that? I rolled my eyes, tired. Get to the point. I'm exhausted and need to sleep. They traded looks. In the end, Mrs. Ariel spoke. Desi, your brother tells me you and Tarek Jones have been close lately? I corrected her. Not close. He's my boyfriend. She choked on the words, barely containing her anger. How can you be dating Tarek Jones? Do you have an objection? My tone stayed even. She snapped. Tarek Jones is engaged to the Williams family. He's your sister Rose's fiancé. How can you be so shameless as to steal your own sister's man? I glanced at Rose. She'd obviously been crying, eyes red, lips trembling, but the moment Mrs. Ariel stepped up to defend her, she put on an aggrieved little act. You still resent me for existing, don't you? From the moment you appeared, you took everything that was mine with no effort. And now even the man I love. You won't spare him. Rose screamed herself hoarse. Tears streamed. Just because I don't share William's blood, am I supposed to be thrown away? She cried like her heart had been crushed, sending the whole family into a flurry to protect her. Maverick shot to his feet in fury. Desi Miller, the Williams family has already brought you back. How is that not enough? Why must you fight Rose for everything? I was speechless. Was this a household case of collective delusion? What had I supposedly stolen? What had they ever given me to steal? I propped my chin in my hand, weary the way one gets facing an unreasonable bully. I laughed softly and turned to Maverick. Stop shouting. Your yelling makes my head ring. You say I took everything from Rose, but tell me, have I received anything from the Williams family? I shifted my gaze to Rose, eyes cold as ice. You say I stole your love. As far as I know, you've met Tarek Jones twice. The first time was when he sent someone to reveal my true identity. He sat in the car while you stood outside the window cursing me. Out. The second time was today at the party, when you rushed to give him your seat. From start to finish, the two of you haven't exchanged 5 sentences. So explain to me, what exactly is this love of yours? An illusion? Mrs. Ariel frowned, stern. Desi Miller! Don't get cocky just because you're with Tarek Jones right now. Men of his station mostly play around. You'd better face reality early, or you'll end up in tears. I looked straight at the woman called my biological mother. Mrs. Ariel. Mr. Jonathan. I held their eyes. Since bringing me back, did you never investigate me? If you had, you'd know I've known Tarek since I was 5. Childhood sweethearts who practically grew up together. He pursued me for 6 years, sending gifts in secret, texting bit by bit through high school. My grandfather beat him with a cane. The Miller family blocked him every way. Do you know he once got into a car accident because of me? 2 broken ribs, his leg nearly amputated, 2 months in a coma? When he woke, before he could even stand, he demanded to see me. The girl with nothing but a few superficial scrapes. Even recalling it made my chest ache. Tears nearly rose. I swallowed them back, curled my lip into a cold smile, and stared straight at Rose. You've met Tarek a handful of times. What do you like about him? His crown prince status? His face? His standing among the elite? That kind of feeling. Do you think you deserve it? Even I, by his side, wonder whether I can shoulder what he gives. Your so-called feelings, compared to his, what are they worth? I stood and brushed off my skirt. If we're going to put on a show, at least do it properly. Or maybe first go check which Lynn is in my name, The Jones family values honor. They only kept that old engagement because they learned I'm the Williamses' biological daughter. But I am different. I looked over the entire Williams clan, eyes bright and sharp. I have no intention of returning to the ancestral register, so I'll end this engagement myself. And you'd better remind the Williams patriarch not to stoop to cheap tricks. If you want a fight, I have plenty of ways to give you one. I didn't go upstairs. I walked straight out of the villa. Sure enough, Tarek was still there, sitting by the car gaming, glancing at the gate now and then. When he saw me, he stuffed his phone in his pocket and sprinted over. "You're out! Did they bully you? Did anyone hit you?" I burst out laughing, tugged his hand down, then, of my own accord, spread my arms and hugged him. I spun once in front of him and said lightly, "With you glowering outside like that, who'd dare bully me?" I took his hand and drew him toward the car. Thing is, I just officially broke with the Williams clan. If I want a good night's sleep, I'll have to beg young Master Jones to put me up. Tarek lit up, squeezing my hand. "Deal. My parents have been talking about you for days. They miss you like crazy. Both families are old money. If anything, the Joneses are a tier or two above the Williamses, but the household atmosphere couldn't be more different. The staff didn't creep around with bowed heads. The butler didn't eye my every move to nitpick. When we entered, only the projector's glow lit the living room. As the door shut, a creepy sound effect boomed. Mrs. Quinn, Tarek's mother, let out a scream, equal parts fear and thrill. Horror movie hour. Tarek slapped on the lights. The room flashed bright. Mrs. Quinn huffed. "You little menace, home and already ruining my fun. Turn the lights off." Tarek led me over, teasing. "It's late and you're still up? Careful or I'll tell Dad." Eyes glued to the screen, she said, "Oh, hush. It took forever for your father to go on a business trip. Can't I relax? And if I tattle on you to my future daughter-in-law, don't blame me." I couldn't help laughing. "Good evening, Auntie Quinn." Her face lit up at once. "Desi." She rushed over and hugged me, then pulled back to look me over. "Let me see. Have you lost weight? I've missed you to bits." I smiled and let her fuss, then let her tow me to the sofa. "They bullied you at the Williams house, didn't they?" I shot Tarek a look. He'd just turned off the projector and was bringing 2 mugs of hot milk. Catching my questioning eyes, he raised a hand. I swear, I didn't say a word. Mrs. Quinn cut him a sideways glare and shook her head. "Silly boy, think you can fool your mother? The way you tore out of here in the middle of the night said enough." She patted my head. "Don't be sad, dear. Some people don't know how to love, and don't deserve to be loved. That's their misfortune. From now on, I'm your mother, and the Jones house is your home. Compared to that so-called Williams clan, ours is 1,000 times better. We value honor, but our children come first. Your father has prepared for both outcomes. If the Williamses behave and truly accept you, we'll gladly ally with them. If they insist on protecting that counterfeit, then we won't bother saving face. You are not to suffer another slight." All the feelings I'd been bottling up crashed over me like a wave. So I wasn't numb after all. I'd just been forced to strap on armor to survive the cold stares of my own parents. Mrs. Quinn hugged me and soothed me gently. "Desi, I know you're strong and capable, but you're still at an age where you need love. If you're wronged, you must speak up and lean on the adults. You have the Miller family and the Jones family behind you. You don't have to swallow everything. It's the Williams family who owe you, not the other way around. Finish your milk and go to bed. Leave the rest to us." I was choked up. I nodded lightly, forcing back the tears gathering in my eyes, and rasped, "Auntie Quinn, you should sleep early too. Don't stay up so late." She looked at me with aching tenderness, lifted her milk, and downed it in one go. "All right, then I'll turn in, but tomorrow morning I'm absolutely going to vent this anger for you properly." Only the next day, when the entire upper crust was in an uproar, did I realize how serious she'd been about venting. Tarek's sister, Audrey Jones, took the day off just to come home and gossip with me. Word was, Mrs. Quinn had organized a society ladies' gathering and invited every grande dame in high society except Mrs. Ariel. The whole circle buzzed, speculating about relations between the Joneses and the Williams clan. It was said the two families had once planned a marriage alliance. Many companies that had hoped to partner with the Williamses on the back of that connection promptly canceled projects. The Williams family didn't sit still. They started digging into Mr. Basil Miller and even into me. By now, they were probably sick with regret. Audrey, a born gossip, had the phone in one hand making call after call, and in the other was glee. "That cheap birth mother of yours is scrambling for an invitation. Relax, there's no way she'll be left out of a party this hot. She'll come. And she'll come in the most humiliating way. At last, the soiree arrived. Mrs. Quinn took my hand, and we descended the long red-carpeted staircase together. Only then did I realize that this ladies' gathering had somehow become the capital's full-dress, high-society ball. Every notable figure was present. The grande dames worked the room. CEOs clustered to discuss deals. This was far beyond a mere tea party. It was a public declaration that the old, money set, and the business community were jointly isolating the Williams clan. Tarek, immaculate in formal wear and a champagne flute in hand, walked beside his father, talking smoothly. Spotting me from afar, he murmured something to his father and came striding over. I raised my glass and tapped lightly against Mr. Jones's, smiling politely. As soon as Tarek drew near, the ladies praising me switched tone, showering compliments on us as a perfect pair. Tarek Jones enjoyed it very much. With a wave of his hand, he threw out 2 investment projects. The surrounding flattery immediately poured out like a storm. Just then, someone on the fringes pushed in with a too loud voice. I heard Miss Desi is the long-lost heiress of the Williams family, and young Master Tarek, and she fell in love not knowing each other's identities. Then at the right age discovered an engagement arranged since childhood. Truly, a match made in heaven. The air went still. No one dared follow that lead. From the edge of the crowd, a familiar voice rang out. Exactly! It seems heaven destined our families to be joined. Desi must have blessings from a past life to have such a fated bond. Mrs. Ariel appeared, forcing a smile. Even her thick makeup couldn't hide the haggardness. She hurried to reach for Mrs. Quinn's arm. Sister-in-law-to-be, so sorry, something came up on the way. I'm a bit late. She thought her humble posture was obvious enough, and that the famously gentle Mrs. Quinn wouldn't embarrass her in public. She miscalculated. Mrs. Quinn merely angled away, faced me, and coolly straightened my collar. Blessings from a past life? Saying that out loud takes some nerve. Our family must have burned incense for generations to have Desi agree to be Tarek's girlfriend. Some people did nothing for her for years, and now they cheapen her by claiming her as their child. And another thing, this engagement is between Tarek Jones and Desi Miller. What's it to the Williams clan? If her surname is Lynn, then she's Lynn. No need to climb high and fabricate kinship. The moment she finished, the crowd's tone flipped, turning to mock Mrs. Ariel. I heard the Williamses pushed Rose to the front to force a marriage. And that Rose Williams doesn't even know who her real parents are? Wasn't that a deliberate attempt to deceive the Joneses? Couldn't acknowledge their own daughter, doted on someone else's child instead, and still want to marry into a financial dynasty? Daydreaming. The one who suffered most is Miss Desi Miller. A party meant to vent my anger ended briskly and decisively. That very night, the whole upper class knew that the Jones family and the Williams family had officially turned against each other. Not long after, Mr. Basil Miller returned from delivering a series of paintings to a foreign royal house. Upon hearing what had happened, he immediately announced me as the rightful heir of the Miller family and swiftly formalized a strategic alliance with the Joneses. After that, I was busy enrolling in university and taking on work for the Millers. It wasn't until our engagement ceremony a year later that I heard news of the Williamses again through Audrey. Word is, the Williams clan has fallen so far they can only partner with third-rate businessmen outside the ultra-rich circle. They even rushed into a scammer contract and took a big loss. Half a year ago, Rose Williams was diagnosed with severe depression and dissociative disorder, and Mrs. Ariel had to take her abroad for treatment. Audrey lowered her voice, eyes gleaming with gossip. You know, Rose's depression wasn't necessarily because you came back. I blinked. She continued. It's because Maverick Williams has a tendency to manipulate her mentally. That's also why she was so fixated on Tarek. I froze. A faint stab of jealousy pricked my chest. But remembering the strange air between Tarek and Rose back then, I still found it hard to believe. But Maverick never looked like he liked Rose. It isn't like. Audrey wrinkled her nose in disgust. It's sicker than, like. He handpicked Rose from an orphanage. After years living together, he quietly controlled her, made her slowly fall for him. Then, willingly do anything, including marrying Tarek, to pave the way for his business takeover. I've seen my share of schemes in high society, but the grotesqueness of that made me shudder. I thought back to the year I got lost with Maverick. For someone so meticulous, how did he accidentally lose me? Was it a mishap or a plan? A chill ran down my spine. Audrey went on. But Mrs. Ariel truly loves Rose. She even planned to sue her own son, Maverick. Honestly, This circle is a mess. Then she patted my shoulder. But don't worry, the Jones family keeps clean of scandals. Just marry Tarek in peace. I weighed the thick red envelopes our elders had pressed on us and silently marveled at fate's strange choreography. The door opened, and the man who walked in with eyes full of love was still him. Tarek Jones, heart and soul turned toward me. From here on, everything else has nothing to do with me.